So before I start, .NET, first let me make you clear what are the things that I'll be covering in our course content. First, I'll give you that complete overview part. Then we'll enter into our subject. And something interesting, especially in this concept, is directly we cannot learn or we cannot start .NET Core. So that is what is first part to study. What is that course content includes. Yeah. Is my desktop shared with everyone?
Yes, it is.
Is my desktop shared with everyone? Srinivasan, is my desktop shared with you all?
Yes, we can see.
Right.
Okay, I can see.
Okay. Chalo. First, in this .NET Core course content, what we decided is first we will begin with C#.NET. Okay. And this C#.NET as language. C#.NET as what? Language. Okay. And then remember, under C#.NET, first we'll discuss all the basics of C#.NET. Yet we don't waste time on discussing, lot of content on it, but at least what is what under basics. We focus on syntaxes and some examples. And then the actual topic, we begin with OOPS. Yeah. So maximum technical questions on any interview, whether it is for a fresher or it is for an experienced profile, this is something, the most important part. Even when you are developing your application on .NET Core, even in that also we require to have coding logic to be written with the object-oriented programming. For that reason, we'll spend some good time to understand all the implementations of object-oriented programming. Going forward, after completion of this OOPS, I begin with something related with called Windows Forms application. Yeah. How you develop desktop application process. Windows Forms you call, or desktop application process, anything is fine. Windows Forms. Here also important things I'll highlight. After completion of it, I'll go with the SQL Server. That would be your database. And even connecting with SQL Server, important topics we'll discuss in it. Important topics like joins, how you write, subqueries, how you write, table creation related some rules, constraint related some rules, and means whatever is needed for a .NET application, those things I'll highlight and explain you under SQL Server. But you're not expecting complete SQL Server course in our, this .NET process. We are not doing all that stuff. Okay. And coming to another important thing, especially in SQL Server, that is in a database. After completion of things on SQL Server, I begin with something called ADO.NET. ADO.NET that deals with database programming. And in this, we will see one connected model that is called as managed provider. And second is disconnected model. And third one is what you call as entity framework. That is called EDM, entity data model. Yes. This will conclude your C#.NET language. And after completion of all this stuff, we will enter into web development. In this web development, this is what I focus. As a web developer to .NET Core, first prerequisite that you people should know is to have UI technologies. Should have knowledge on what? UI technologies. I'm not saying like you should have in-depth knowledge of UI technology. No, at least you can say like this, intermediate knowledge of UI technologies becomes a prerequisite. UI technologies that includes HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, plus Bootstrap. Yeah, these things will help us in designing your application in a what formatted way, in a perfect way, in a look and feel manner. Yeah, these are prerequisites you can call to have knowledge of what UI technologies, right? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, Bootstrap. But remember, I'm not saying that you should have a knowledge of in-depth knowledge of all this. I said intermediate knowledge. It's something like you don't, I'm not saying that you should have complete, and even you cannot be like something you're not aware of anything. It should be like intermediate. You have like both, like you know, but not full. You know about them, but not detail, but not full. That's what the point is. Intermediate knowledge of your technologies is compulsory, right? So if you have already an idea, because you're not going to work as designer, your job will be web developer. So for web development, you don't need to waste your time learning UI technologies. Whatever I cover, it's more than enough. Whatever the content I'm going to cover on that, it's more than enough to understand. More than enough to understand what web development process. Okay, that is the reason I mentioned very clearly second module as web development. If you want to make your career into designing, web designing, then the story is different. Yeah, then you have to spend your around 5 to 6 months of course duration to learn in depth of UI technologies that includes HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, Bootstrap, React. Those all things also will be a part of it. Like if you want to make your career into that stream. Okay, and then we will begin with something called cross platform runtime with .NET Core. Yes. And in this .NET Core course content, I have already shared with the management. You can collect that course content. If not, if they'll give you the link from where you can go through the course content of specially .NET Core. And in this .NET Core, remember, what are we going to study is ASP.NET Core, ASP.NET Core MVC, and then ASP.NET Core Web API. Yeah, just giving you an idea. I'm not writing I'm not saying that these are only 3 parts available for .NET Core. No, you want to see what is being covered? Yeah, I have prepared a course content of it. You'll be getting a detailed information about it. ASP.NET Core content. Yeah. Yes, here. ASP.NET Core. Introduction to ASP.NET Core, understanding about features, understanding about and which version I'm going to use is ASP.NET Core 8 will be using for our application development. For my course content, I'll be using .NET Core 8.0. That I'll be using. Here, module 1 includes what? Comparison, ASP.NET Core, ASP.NET MVC, ASP.NET Web Forms. How are they different? How are we going to work on them? Then I'll be showing you how ASP.NET Core application will work for console application, web application. Yeah, then HTTP, then middleware, then about routing, then controllers, action methods, binding, views, dependency injection, environments, CRUD operations. We got tag helpers, entity framework, filters, solid principles, authorization and security, web API. These all content which I designed, keeping industry oriented things to understand .NET Core. This is only for your knowledge. Not only that, I take up things related with the online and offline class, session. I'm even a corporate trainer for .NET. Very recently, I completed back-to-back 2 trainings with a company called Scient Limited. Scient Limited. Yeah, I completed training with them for .NET. And there are various other companies also which I regularly visit for .NET training. And one other company, every year I do training with them. That is BHEL, their IT wing. Their IT wing, that BHEL also. I'm not talking production. I'm talking about their IT wing. Yeah, there also I take up my sessions on .NET. Every year I go for them with taking up one batch for .NET, Java, and SQL Server. These are the 3 trainings I'll do with BHEL. And apart from this, these are the companies I visit, like FactSet, then Choice Solutions, Artha Solutions. These are some of the companies I visit to train on various subjects. Yeah, from past 14 years, I'm into training on .NET. I'm into training on .NET, but my overall experience onto training is 23 years. Yeah, and .NET I'm training from past 14 years. I'm training with what? .NET. This is the content that I'm going to cover for your talk. Yeah. Yeah. Now, as I and one more thing. Why I said that we cannot learn .NET Core directly, because if you and one more thing, we are going to use Visual Studio 2022. Okay, Visual Studio 2022 for our application development. Okay, right. And one more thing. Why I said that we cannot develop this what do you call .NET Core application, web application, because this is just now I completed one of the batches. At 6 o'clock I was having a session of .NET where I actually started them with .NET Core. So for them I have designed this basic first application, like for them. C# was over for them, and I started with this. And now my point is, if I directly show you a .NET Core application development, that to a web application development directly, if you are new to programming, if you are new to .NET, that may put you a lot of confusion to understand this code. I may run this, no problem. You run the code, I'll get the output, but it's only that you have to understand that something was there in the program, something I did, something happened, something as output has been generated. But what happened in the process, what happened in the background, what is happening, who is taking care of this application, these all things you cannot understand. Because to understand all this, you should have knowledge. You should have knowledge of C#. Yeah, this is something, an operator we use called lambda expression. This operator is called goes to operator, GOES, goes to operator for lambda expression. And then you should know about where, that is called type inference. We call it as what? Type inference. Then you should know about static. Lot of things are there, lot of things. So directly for a beginner, understanding .NET Core would be difficult. Yeah. So in introduction classmates, if I talk about all these things for you, like what is cross-platform, what is open source, what is cloud-enabled, what is modern application. If I talk all these things about .NET Core, if you have already some knowledge on .NET that is related with framework, if you have a knowledge, then it would be easy for you to understand. But if you are new to the subject, and in the introduction class itself, if I talk about all these things about cross-platform, open source, modern, cloud-enabled web application development, about services, then that may put you in trouble to understand them. Okay, so that is not the way I feel as far as my experience is concerned. So that is the reason I decided not to start with .NET Core directly. Instead, what we will do, as we follow this schedule for my classes. This schedule we follow for my classes. And remember, first C# .NET language, we will learn here. And this is what I feel. Once you are comfortable in working with C# .NET language on .NET framework, thorough knowledge, I'm saying, well versed with all proper implementations of C# .NET language over .NET framework, then believe me, whatever things you have learned here, the same things you can just like that convert to .NET Core. Because .NET Core provides two types of application development. Console-based also we have, and even web-based also we have. Console-based also we have, web-based also we have. Then where does it, here also no doubt here, no problem. You can write here console application. Yeah, we can learn in .NET Core with console application development. What is the difference then? This is the difference. If I say .NET framework works only on Windows OS, when I say console application development on .NET Core, then I call cross-platform. Yeah, develop on Windows, run on Unix, run on Linux, run on Mac, run on other operating systems, cross-platform. So considering that, I decided to go with what? Yeah, I decided to go with what? Yes. So first target will be C#. First target. After that, slowly we'll get back to you on other implementations. Okay. Yeah, anything that you want to ask on this, go ahead. If not, I'll get into the next part. Yes, please. Any questions you have that you want to ask me on this?
Hello.
Yes, please. Yeah,
Sir,
yes, please.
hi.
Yeah, hi.
Sir, basically, I have joined this class because I'm using a E-plan software, which is a electrical design software using for control panel.
Okay. Okay.
In that, for repetitive task, there is option for script run
Okay.
in toolbox. So
Okay.
that's why I have joined to learn the script writing for
Okay.
E-plan
Okay.
to do the repetitive tasks. So
Okay.
is it possible to learn the script writing by joining this class, or what is the situation? Please
Nice.
guide.
First point is script writing can be a different, concept. So your script writing is related to what? You make me clear, then I'll guide you perfectly on it.
I have seen only the script writing option, and
Hmm.
the software provider suggest me there are three languages. By using those, you can write a script: C
Huh.
Sharp, .NET,
Huh.
and Visual Basic.
Okay. Okay. So definitely remember one point. Comparing C#, .NET and VB.NET among these two, the simplest way to write the scripting part would be with the support of C#, .NET. Okay, VB.NET is also one way, but syntaxes are quite very lengthy and they provided a lot of keywords to implement the programming. For that reason, many companies prefer to go with C# .NET instead of using what VB.NET. Yeah, whatever the content that I cover for C# .NET definitely will help you in understanding your implementations of your, on your requirements, whatever the thing. And whatever the course content I have shown you a few minutes before, that was related to .NET Core. C# .NET content is different.
Okay.
That is different. That content is different. What it covers and all, yeah, that also I'll show you 1 second. 1 second. So that you'll have an idea, no, like what am I going to cover in it. Open this PC, E drive, C# content. Yeah, this is all about C# because it is related with language. Yeah, C#.NET basic programming. Then we'll go with OOPS. OOPS mein whatever I cover, everything I mentioned here. Everything. OOPS in C#.NET. Then window-based. That was desktop application development. Then assembly, streams, multi-threading. ADO.NET. What all I cover, everything I mentioned. XML, WPF. These things will be part of C#.NET. Okay, Vaibhav?
Okay, so by using this, I can use it for scripting.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, right.
Yes, sir, I'm still
Anything?
awesome.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm listening.
So,
Yes.
ASP.4, you mentioned the version 8. Suppose please consider the
8.6.
version 9.
Because
Possible
the
version
okay.
9.
Yeah, reason I'll say reason. .NET 8, .NET Core 8.0, we have from Microsoft for long-term support.
Okay.
9 is not yet fully released. It is still under
Not for fully released. Okay.
yeah, it is still under development. Still, it is under modification. You understand? 8.0 also
Okay.
is still under, but 8.0 is finalized version. I just want to show you for your knowledge. 9.0 support also we have, but I would suggest you and C#.NET 13 will be using 13 version. And I'll just show you this for knowledge. I'm saying when you create a project here, just for knowledge, you would find .NET Core next. Click on X. Here you find here. Can you see .NET 8.0
Yes.
long-term support?
Okay.
Now, if you just click on this drop-down list, you find 9.0 standard term support, but it's not fine fully released version.
Standard support.
Yeah, 8.0 is long-term support that I'll be using for my practical side. And this is another reason I would prefer to go with 8.0. Always it is not only in .NET, any version of any software, it's always recommended to learn lesser one version. Instead of going, because latest version, if you learn, it's not fully available. It will be there, but not with full, features available for us to use in our application development. Okay.
Now version 10 also released.
Yeah, release. But both of them, 10 is very recently. 9 is also not long-term support they have. And some .NET Core versions are already out of date also. I mean, they are outdated also. Okay, comfortable.
C#.NET, ADO.NET, and VB.NET, ASP.NET. But these are the combination of two languages.
No.
Whatever
Wait.
I have.
I'm going to come up about it. I'm going to come up about it. Yeah, here I'm going to come up. Your point will be clarified. So now let me make you clear on this. Vaibhav, listen to this, please. This is important. After that, I'll talk about C#.NET introduction. Okay.
Okay.
Remember one thing. Microsoft has introduced .NET. Okay. Though we are using today .NET in 2025, but history of .NET starts from 2002. 2002. For the very first time, Microsoft has introduced first time Microsoft introduced .NET for what? In 2002. This is what we have a comparative study also. Comparative study that see, they all make one. Okay, no, we'll discuss that later. That complete discussion we'll have later. So Microsoft has come up with .NET, dividing it into two streams. Okay, Vaibhav? One is called languages, one stream, and second they call as technology. Two streams. Microsoft .NET is going to deal with what? Two things: languages and technology. Under languages, Microsoft has made available with 4 languages. Listen carefully, please. How many I'm saying? 4. What are they? C#.NET, VB.NET, VC++.NET, F#.NET. Yes. Four languages. And under technology, they have initially introduced ASP.NET, something they called as web forms. Then they introduced ASP.NET MVC. Then they have come up with ASP.NET Core. Now these all they removed now. These all things gone. Now we are going with ASP.NET Core. And one more thing. Remember. What is it? Listen. To learn C#.NET, yeah. This is simple to learn. C#.NET. Okay. VB.NET is syntax wise, even keyword wise, lot of things that may create a little confusion for a beginner. C#.NET is simple to learn, easy to understand. Yeah. These two are very much complex. VC++ and F#.NET. Very rare companies prefer to work on these two. Otherwise, maximum companies prefer to work with only C# and what? VB. Yeah, they prefer to work with C# and VB. And now the point is, if you want to learn C#, there is no prerequisite, nothing. When I start my practical sessions on C#.NET, obviously it would be right from scratch. From the beginning, I'll start. I'll show you from basic program till I go with advanced programs. That is depends, like, few students will be there, they're in their company, they have a requirement even on VB.NET. So what I usually do, I'll show them few examples, few, implementations on VB.NET. Depends. Otherwise, my target is always C#.NET. And this is what I feel. If you are good in working, in handling C#.NET, VB.NET, hardly 1 week is enough. Total C#.NET, you can revise in VB.NET. Total. Just comparison, we can wind up. Comparison. If you're good in C#.NET, VB.NET, complete VB.NET, 1 week is enough, I'm saying. Comparison, you can wind up. In comparison, you can learn VB.NET. You understand? Comfortable? Is this clear now?
These are the both means combination of languages which are used in
technology
and technology.
Yeah, together becomes .NET.
Okay.
And
so
you know one thing, especially when you talk about this .NET is in a dot.
Okay.
Dot is what you refer as classifier.
Okay.
Classification. What classification? This is the classification. C#.NET, VB.NET, ASP.NET, VC++.NET, F#.NET. Okay.
So for this class, prerequisites is nothing, right?
Nothing.
We
Because
can
I said, what did I say? To learn C#.NET, we don't have any prerequisites to learn C#.NET. No prerequisite. But remember, to learn ASP.NET or C#.NET becomes a prerequisite. Means someone who wants to get into ASP.NET, compulsory that candidate should have in-depth knowledge of C#.NET. Yeah, without that, you cannot develop any application related with the .NET Core. So who is dependent on whom now? ASP.NET Core is dependent on C
C
Sharp.
sharp dot net.
But C Sharp.NET has nothing to do with other languages. Huh? This is always found, this is always said that it is an added advantage for you. Added advantage for you. For what? If you already have knowledge on C, C++, added advantage. I'm not saying compulsory you should know that. No. Added advantage. Probably in the next part, you'll get to know in detail about it. Chalo, anyways. Now, first point, introduction to C#.NET. And in that, I would highlight that C#.NET is a language. Chalo, now you should know compulsory about language. So we'll talk in that. Okay.
Why we are not learning only .NET?
.NET is actually, you can call a term that is described with all these things. Are you following my point? .NET is like, you can call for all these, .NET is extension.
So .NET is dependent on C sharp on.
.NET is the name given to the subject, making these all classifications.
Okay.
Are you following me?
Yes.
Okay. And now remember one more point. Especially when I use this word C#.NET, before to it, what is my concern is, okay, before even to introduction, let me first explain you this part. What it is? Language. Yeah. Because C#.NET is a language. For that reason, we are highlighting this. Language. What is a language? Basic definition. Medium of communication. Medium of communication. Yes. Language. Medium of communication with whom? With whom? With a device, computer. How? Through set of instructions. What instructions? Input, processing, and output. Input instructions, processing instructions, output instructions. That is how things will be described about language. How many languages? Yeah, let me explain you. I'm not talking on all those things in detail, just giving you an idea. One is called high level languages, one category. Second, low level languages, second category. Third one is what you call as middle level languages. And remember one special point, machine language. And you have to remember what, for any programming language, at the end, that programming language generates something called machine language. Yeah, don't forget, please, the reason of discussing this, that point. What is that point? Introduction to C#, C#.NET. Here. C#.NET comes under category of language. Category of only language. Yes. And here, types of languages. We have high level languages you call, low level language you call, middle level languages we call. I'm not talking all that stuff now. Just I'm saying you the types of languages. But for us, what is important is machine language is important for us. Machine language. What is machine language? Yeah, one. Remember, it is also called native code language. Yeah, machine language is also called native code language. Okay. Second, I'll highlight. Second. What is second I'll highlight is, remember, every operating system contains a specific machine language instruction set. Yeah. And third, I'll highlight machine language differs from one OS to another OS. That is what second point I have written. Every OS contains a specific machine language instruction set, right? And that is, yeah. This machine language, not only in C#, it is available in all, I'm saying, every programming language at the end generates machine language. C language may be used to have machine language. C++ may be used to have machine language. Python has machine language. C#.NET will have machine language. VB.NET will have machine language. Every programming language at the end will have machine language. Yeah, what do you call that as? Native code language. And one more thing. Example, I'll say. What? .exe file, that is called executable file. .exe file, executable file, copied from Windows OS to Linux OS will not allow what? Program execution. It means if .exe file, that is executable file, if it is created in Windows operating system and if you have copied it to Linux operating system, what will happen? It will not allow program execution. Why? Since native code differs. This is what highlights. Hence, it is called platform dependent. Yeah. So remember, we have come across with the word platform dependent. And this is what my point says. To understand platform dependent, these are the two important terms you should be very clear first. What is called platform and what is called framework. Yeah. What is called platform and what is called framework. Don't forget, please. This is .NET framework related. I'm saying. I said already here. .NET framework. Considering that, because I said here, no, here .NET Core, cross-platform, console application development. Yeah, we got web application, console application. Both types of application development we have there. And that would work on multiple operating systems. Yeah. And what is this language discussion we had? Because I said here, introduction, C#.NET is a language. For that reason, this language term I started discussing. Just to give an idea about types of languages, important machine language. Example I gave. In that, I have come across with what is called platform dependent. Yeah. And before I start, introduction to visual C#.NET. First, we will be clear on these two important terms. What is called platform and what is called framework. Yeah. So first we will understand. What platform. Because once you are comfortable in understanding platform, then just like that, you can understand what is platform dependent and what is platform independent. Yeah, tomorrow's class may come across with that platform independent part. Chalo, let's talk about platform. Refer to .png file. I'm going to draw one small picture to make you understand what is platform. Yeah, I'm not going to describe directly what is platform with technical terms that may put you in confusion. No, I won't do that. First, we'll understand what is platform through one simple architecture. And through that architecture, we'll try to understand the rest of the things. Okay? So let's begin like this. So this is a small representation for platform. Architecture of a term platform or representation of a term platform. Yeah, remember the base layer, the base layer of any system is always hardware. But make sure on this term as well, whenever I use the word platform, you cannot just wind up your answer saying that, platform is something related with OS. No, not necessary. Not necessary that platform should be always related to OS. No, no. Platform cannot be only what? Operating system. The meaning of platform changes from one application to another application. Yeah. First one, what did I say? Hardware. Yeah. On this hardware, we are going to install OS. 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 Yes. Now, what do you say on this? What do you say on this? Simple. You can conclude like this. For operating system, hardware becomes platform. For operating system, what is the platform? Hardware. Now, if they ask you to explain what is platform, if you say that platform is OS, then our answer goes wrong because not necessary that platform should be always an example of operating system. This is another point we have. Yeah, hardware is platform for OS. Okay, third point I'll explain. Third one. Yeah, third one. Third layer I call. What is it? C++ code. C++ code. Yes, now I would say like this. For C++ code, OS becomes platform. For C++ code, OS becomes platform. For OS, hardware becomes platform. For C++, OS becomes platform. For OS, hardware becomes platform. And finally, the last one I would highlight, the last one, comparison may will understand. Then I'll discuss what is platform with technical terms. Yeah. And the two things I'll highlight. On left side, I'll write .NET code. On the right side, I'll write Java code. .NET code. On the other end, Java code. Java code. And now remember, this is what we have a connection. .NET code OS cannot understand directly. Even Java code OS cannot understand directly. As it understands C++ code directly, OS understands C++ code directly. The same way, .NET code and Java code OS cannot understand directly. For that reason, we are introduced here. One that is called .NET framework. And for Java, they introduced JRE, that is called Java Runtime Environment .NET Framework. Yeah, and here JRE. And now remember, you can say like this. you write .NET code, hand over it to .NET framework. This .NET framework will hand over your program to OS. OS will run that program on hardware. Yeah, it means what? Now you can say in this total architecture, there are around 4 platforms. What are they? .NET framework, operating system, JRE, hardware. Yes, it's like we got how many? 4 platforms. Now, keeping this picture in view, now if you have been asked to define what is platform, this is the definition you can provide for platform. Yeah, what is the definition of platform? You can say, now you can define platform. Platform is an environment to develop and to deploy applications. That is the definition of platform. Is this definition explains you that I'm talking about only operating system? No, not at all. That is the reason I started saying like this. Not necessary. Platform should be always related to OS. Not necessary. The meaning of platform changes from one application to another application. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So let me save this for your reference. When I share my notes, I can transfer this picture as well for you. Yeah, here I call architecture platform. Yeah. Are you all clear with what I said in this definition? So never say that platform is something related with operating system. Okay. Not necessary. That platform should be an example of OS. The meaning of platform changes from one application to another application. Remember that, please. Okay. Yeah. How many platforms you find? These all are examples. .NET code, will OS understand directly? No. Who will take care of the .NET code? .NET framework will take care of it. And Java code, who will take care of? JRE will take care of. And where JRE will transfer the code to OS, and OS will run that program on hardware. That is the reason definition of platform, what we wrote is, platform is an environment to develop and to deploy or execute what? Applications. Okay. Yeah. That is first term. Then we have what? Framework. Yeah, I'll write the definition. Framework. How do you define a framework? You can say like this: ready to use. Ready to use. What? Collection of classes and interfaces. Yeah. Means ready-made classes and interfaces. What is your job? Ready to use collection of classes and interfaces using which we can develop our applications. Yes, that is the definition of framework. Detail we'll understand as and when we progress into subject. That's it. From here, we'll enter into our subject, what is called Visual C#.NET. That's tomorrow's class. May I start? Do you have any questions to ask me? Go ahead. If